Back when I was in elementary/middle school, I used to have IT class. This was just before the UK's education system realised that understanding technology was an unbelievably useful skill, so let's just say that these IT lessons were an absolute joke. People were playing Club Penguin, people were on Miniclip, there was no learning of any computer skills. For my part, I spent those lessons hanging out with my buddy Aiden. All Aiden and I did was play this one browser game called the Powder Game.
Yeah, boy.
In this game, players combined elements and watched pixels explode. It was so damn stupid.
Muscovado.
Coincidentally, Aiden is now a quantum physicist and I can use Adobe Premiere Pro? The only part of IT that I found interesting was when we started using Scratch. Using Scratch, you could make games, but more importantly, you could make animations. I used to love those crazy stickmen brutalizing each other type of animations, so I took a stab at creating my very own. And well, let me just show you.
Here we go. Live and let die. That's what we like to call big damage. If at first you don't succeed, you can always try again.
This is when I learned a truth about the world. Animation is hard. Technological advancements have kinda killed old school hand-drawn animation. Advancements in CGI let filmmakers and animators create worlds on screen that previously were confined to people's dreams and imaginations. We finally have the technology to virtually simulate intercourse with sexy anime waifus. I believe in CGI. I believe in technology. Fundamentally, CGI lets animators do crazier shit with less labor and less money, so it just makes sense to make the switch away from hand-drawn animation. But, and this is a big but, there's still something so magical and warm about old school hand-drawn animation that computer animation just can't capture. Let's take a look at two Superman animations, one from the modern era, one from the 1940s. The Superman vs. Doomsday has the spectacle, it has the realism, it has the Zack Snyder. But the 1940s Superman has this expressiveness, this vibrance, this joie de vivre, this je ne sais quoi. Video games are a modern medium, and it makes sense that they use modern technology. Video games have always been about the bleeding edge.
Well, bam! There it is.
Let's take a look at two video games. One is modern, one is old. What if I told you that the Superman game is an old game made with modern technology, and Cuphead is a new game made with traditional technology? Cuphead's visuals immediately draw you in. In a split second, you can tell that this is something different from the norm. This is something special. Cuphead is a game made with old school hand-drawn methods of animation. Each frame is hand-drawn. Every little action made by every character requires the labor and finesse of a human's hand to perfect each line centimeter by centimeter. Most of the backgrounds are watercolored, and those that aren't are physical models. Yes, literal physical models that are then filmed in a stop-motion-esque way. The only digital aspect of Cuphead's aesthetics are the colors, and even then the colorists have captured the warmth of celluloid panels. Even the film grain overlaid onto the game is literal physical film grain. It's insane to think how much work was put into this game's animation. Each character is so expressive, each movement is so filled with life and pizzazz. Every inch of the screen is filled with hand-drawn artistry that you just can't help being dazzled by. There are times when you can't help but to just soak in the game's incredible beauty. The music too is analog, each track performed by real musicians playing real instruments, and golly goppers is the soundtrack fabtastic. The na-na-na-na and the bum-bum-bum of the brass deliciously accompany the on-screen action. The sound effects too have a textural quality. Highlights include the ta-ta-ta of the bass gun and the gag reflex of Wally Warbles. Like I said, I'm not a digital hater, but there's a reason why my dog prefers to drink water from a pond and rejects the water I pour for him into his bowl. There's a reason why, even though I have my sexy anime VR chat honeys, I still come back home to my body pillows. It's because we are animals. When experiencing analog art, you feel a connection to other people. You feel like you're in conversation with a real human and can feel their movement, their blood, sweat and tears through their art. You can feel the hours spent toiling away to achieve perfection. It's an exchange of the mind, body and soul. That is the aesthetic experience of Cuphead, an experience no other video game can provide. Cuphead fought the animation industry and won. The video game industry is in a weird spot. Video games are big business. Video games are booming.
Boom.
But AAA video games can feel a little stale. Microtransactions, live service, unfinished releases, these are some of the issues plaguing the AAA scene. To top that off, video game development now more than ever is a complex wild beast taming endeavor. In come the Moldenhauer brothers. Chad and Jared Moldenhauer grew up in Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada, probably chugging maple syrup and definitely playing shoot-em-ups and watching classic 1930s cartoons. During that retro entertainment-filled childhood, a seed was planted within the brothers. Let's make a video game. Time flew by. The brothers grew up. Chad worked in graphic design while Jared worked in construction. In 2010, that seed bloomed once more. The success of Super Meat Boy and other indie games inspired the Moldenhauer brothers to chase their dream for real. In 2012, that dream started taking shape. 150 main character designs were created, and finally they settled on a Japanese propaganda cartoon-inspired character, guy with a cup for a head, aka Cuphead. They kept working on their 1930s cartoon-inspired video game, with Jared still working his full-time job in construction. Bit by bit, the game improved and gathered attention. In 2013, Microsoft got in touch with them and said, "Hey, I like your game. How about we make it an exclusive for the Xbox?" Oh, and here's the E3 2014 main stage. The world sees Cuphead and the world goes wild. Cuphead will come out in 2015, the trailer says. The trailer is lying. What if I told you that Cuphead's development was the dark souls of video game development? Old school hand-drawn animation is difficult and time-consuming. We've kind of been through that. But guess what is even more difficult and time-consuming? Making a video game with no formal education. Yes, the Moldenhauer brothers embarked on their dream without any real education in game development. They were teaching themselves how to make a video game while making a video game. To put the dark in Dark Souls, the Moldenhauer brothers even remortgaged their houses to fund Cuphead's development. After returning to the E3 main stage in 2015, Studio MDHR, the studio set up by the Moldenhauer brothers, went radio silent. The brothers quietly expanded their team from just the two of them to include their cousins and some other employees. Still a small indie team, they remained dedicated to properly fulfilling their vision and their dream. But in this case, that meant physically laboring over every single frame of in-game action. The physical process behind Cuphead just took really fucking long, and MDHR didn't want to compromise on their ideas, so that meant delays and more delays. On the 29th of September 2017, the game finally came out. And upon that release, we learned that Cuphead didn't just have the style, it also had the substance.
Cuphead is incredible for more than just its looks.
Cuphead is more than worthy of your time.
10 out of 10 territory.
Streamers couldn't stop playing it, the journalists that could actually play it loved it, the gamer nation gushed about it. Cuphead was a smash hit. Cuphead combines its old school aesthetic with old school design. It's a tough as shit run and gun boss rush game. It is so hard but so addicting. It successfully tapped into that resurgent difficult as balls Dark Souls gaming itch, taking the internet by storm. Dark Souls 1's difficulty made me a little but Cuphead, while not perfectly fair and balanced, just made me want to keep going. It's simple but so satisfying, especially when you finally beat those goddamn bosses. Without compromising their vision, MDHR released a game that is fully complete upon launch and was offered to the public at a super reasonable price point. And 5 years after its initial launch, Cuphead finally has its first and final DLC expansion. Studio MDHR has somehow managed to raise the bar again. Each boss is amazingly animated and fun as hell to conquer. The newly playable Miss Chalice is an exquisite addition. Funnily enough, this DLC expansion was slated to release back in 2019. And those 3 years of delays are a testament to the Moldenhauer brothers' commitment to excellence. This DLC expansion is perfectly titled A Delicious Last Course, because that's really what it is. In 2022, it's easy to say that Cuphead was destined to be successful, but make no mistake, Jared and Chad gambled on a dream. Instead of making a deal with the devil, they toiled and persisted to ensure that their dream was fulfilled the way they wanted it to be. Cuphead took on the video game industry, and Cuphead won.
Cuphead is a pretty challenging game.
100%.